everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition of our Next Guest TV show, coming to you from Channel I Studios. We're also live on Facebook. This show is brought to you by Moorish Pepper Sauce, Scrummy Cakes and More GH, Vidanol for Kids, A-League Consult, and FGCA Management Consult. It's really exciting to come your way again. Remember, you can get interactive with us on the show by sending your questions and comments via our Facebook page, our Next Guest TV show. Coming up today is a discussion on human capital development. I'm your host, Maud, and I'm Ashiabo. We'll be right back after the break.
Welcome to the A-League Consult. The A-League Consult is a human capital development organization that provides capacity building, skills training, and skills enhancement for individuals and businesses. What we seek to do is to bring to the table in-depth knowledge, insights that would help people to become better at whatever it is that they are doing.
Welcome back from the break. This is our Next Guest TV show, and this show is brought to you by Moorish Pepper Sauce. Enrich your eating experience. Scrummy Cakes and More GH, experts in cakes and pastries for all occasions. Vidanol for Kids, your online shop for kids' quality, affordable clothes and toys. A-League Consult, specialist in individual and corporate trainings. And FGCA Management Consult. Contact them for your auditing, taxation, and payroll services. My lovely outfit is by Nekia Couture. Follow her on IG, Nekia Couture. My makeup is by Bronze Palette, and contact her for a good face beat. Follow her on Instagram also as Bronze Palette. Let's take our motivation for today. And I quote, "The greatest crime is not developing your potential when you do what you do best, but not only helping yourself, also helping the world." End of quote. And this is by Roger Williams. We have in the studios today the Chief Executive Officer of A-League Consult, a human capital organization in Ghana. Let's welcome Mr. John Appiah. Mr. Appiah, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's good to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here. I've been watching what you've been doing, and I think you and your team, you are doing a brilliant job. We are proud of you.
You're also doing brilliant. I mean, amazingly well.
Thank you.
Okay, as I said earlier, human capital development. So I'm sure the first thing that is ringing on the minds of people is, what is human capital development?
Okay, so once again, thank you for having me, and I see a very wonderful evening to all the people watching us. Human capital development is basically very simple. This is not any encyclopedia definition, but just a basic definition to help our viewers to understand. It is a process of either improving or updating the knowledge, the skills, the abilities, and the competencies of an individual or a group of people with the ultimate goal of increasing their productivity and their earning power. That is how I'd want to define human capital development.
Okay, so of what importance is human capital development to us? Because it looks like it's overlooked in our country.
That's right. I think that everyone watching us should be very concerned about human capital development, because number one, we all desire to be more productive. And we all desire to earn more. But being more productive and earning more doesn't come just like that. There should be a conscious effort to increase or improve the knowledge you have, improving your skills, improving your abilities and your competencies to allow you to be more productive and to be able to earn more. So instead of just complaining and crying and blaming everybody, from your employers to your bosses to your mother to your father to your family, spend some time looking at ways you can improve and increase the knowledge you have. In any area, in any field of endeavor, you can always increase that knowledge, you can always improve that skill. And once you do these things, what you're doing is that you are increasing your productivity and by extension your earning power. So if you do this consistently over a period of time, your circumstances change.
Okay, so it doesn't necessarily have to be towards a fixed area.
Yes, because you see, we all have different areas of interest. You are into broadcasting, you're very passionate about it.
Yeah.
Somebody may be into football, somebody may be into acting, somebody may be into TV production.
Sure.
But the point is that wherever you find yourself, whatever field you find yourself in, there should be a conscious effort to grow the knowledge you have, to improve the skills you have, to add to your abilities and your competencies. That is when you can be more productive, and that is when you can earn more. So these things are universal, irrespective of the field you find yourself in.
Okay, does trying to add up another area to what you do and trying to develop yourself in that area, does it bear any effect on having any additions to the previous area?
So what happens is that a lot of us have multiple talents. So for example, you can be into music, you can be into acting and some other things.
Yeah.
But I always am convinced that there's a particular area which, if you mine and do very well in that area, it will be what will bring you your major breakthroughs. All right. So I can play a bit of the organ, but I'm not an expert at the organ. I can do a bit of comedy, but I'm not an expert at comedy. What I'm very good at is helping people to develop their potentials and to become better people. So my thinking is that if people should focus on that one key area that essentially drives them, then there will be a way of increasing your productivity and increasing your earning power. The other things you can do for fun and all that, but the moment you want to monetize or commercialize that particular area, then it is very important you increase your knowledge. It's very important that you improve your skills. It's very important that you invest into that area to be able to help you earn more.
Okay. As an entrepreneur,
Yes.
or a business owner,
Yes.
you know, you don't account to anybody.
True.
You are not accountable to probably a boss. It's your own business.
True.
Is there any need to focus on human capital development for yourself?
So. I think so. It's very important. And I realize that a lot of young entrepreneurs forget about that. Their thinking is that, well, I don't do any appraisal to any superior or boss. I am my own boss and I do my own thing. But you see, the point is that I'm convinced that your business is a reflection of who you are. Especially if you're a startup entrepreneur. In the first few years, your business will be an entire reflection of who you are. So I think that, number one, it is important for entrepreneurs to add value to themselves, to increase their knowledge, to improve their skills, because ultimately their business is a reflection of who they are. The second reason why it's important for entrepreneurs to develop themselves and to add value to themselves is that at a point in your business, you may have to recruit people. The moment you recruit people, you pay people. The moment you pay people, you monitor their output and their productivity. So if you, who's monitoring somebody's output and productivity, you are low on the ladder, how can you then, check somebody or monitor another person? So I think that for these two important reasons, entrepreneurs should have it as a key focus to develop themselves, not just their business, but also to develop themselves.
Okay. Considering the fact that most people have actually gone through trainings or attained some degrees to do the work they do, is it still necessary for their companies to, put in other investments to try to regulate their human capital?
I believe so. And I'll give you a reason why.
Sure.
If I should ask you, in your class, maybe in the university class, you were more than 2, 3, 4, a lot of people.
Yeah.
And a lot of people graduate every year with virtually the same certificates, some with the same classes and all that. So your knowledge, or the knowledge you have, or your education you have, may gain you entry into the job. But I think that every job has some specific requirements that may not be taught in the classroom. And that is the point where human capital development comes in. I have realized from my experience that there are some human resource managers who are just interested in just recruiting people and leaving it at that. But I think that there should be a conscious and concerted effort to develop the talents of the people you work with. So for example, if you work in an organization for the past 3 years, your HR has not put in any plans to, add value to you or to help you to grow or to become better, you need to ask yourself certain questions. Does the organization really think about me? Because sometimes organizations are fixated with the bottom line profit and nothing else. But I think that human capital is an important tool in increasing the profits of any organization. So HRs and human resource directors and business owners should spend some time to help their employees to upgrade their skills and to become better people. Again,
but do you think that our educational system tries its own way to, get us ready as graduates for the job market?
That's a very interesting question, and I'll tell you why. The job market, in my opinion, has 3 dynamics. The knowledge you have, and the knowledge usually is acquired through schooling. And then the skills you have, the skill set you have. I think that one comes by experience. And by experience, it could either be through internship programs, it could be through you volunteering to be part of a program, or actually working. because once you work, you are able to improve the skills you have. And the third thing is about the mindset. The mindset is your own attitude, and that is influenced by your social relationships and your social network. I think that the schools play a good part, that is improving the knowledge of people, helping people acquire knowledge and information, but the rest would depend on the graduates themselves. And I think that's where the problem is, especially in this part of our world. We tie up everything related to job to the schools. The schools can do their part. They can give you knowledge, they can give you information, but you need to work on improving your skills and improving your mindset and your attitude. So there's a lot that you have to do as a graduate to better your chances of succeeding in the job market. Because I know people that have first class degrees that are woefully doing badly. They are really not doing anything with regards to the work or whatever it is that they find themselves doing. And I know people who may have a third class degree but are working very hard, they are successful, and they are people making impact in the job market. So I think that it's important that we don't just focus only on the schools.
Okay, you don't need to focus only on the schools, even though it is important that you consider school. You can still get interactive with us on the show by sending your questions via our Facebook page, our Next Guest TV show. Okay, what do you think is that, you said earlier that there are people who have the first class and others who have the third class, but there's a clear difference between he who has the first and the third. Others are doing better than those in the first class, that's the third class.
That's right.
What could contribute to that?
So the two other factors, you see, apart from your certificate, your skill set and your attitude is important in helping you to succeed in the job market.
Okay.
All right. So even though you may not have a first class degree, if you have the right and appropriate soft skills, you have the right skill set, and you have that right mindset and attitude, I am convinced that if you put in a lot of hard work, you can rise up and you can excel. But you see, in this part of our world, we celebrate too much credentials. People have first class, he has a PhD, he has a master's, and he has MPhil. And so what? At the end of the day, what is more important is the attitude with which you do your work and the skills you bring to bear on the work you do. And I think that that is what will make the clear-cut difference.
Okay, so evidently, some of these third class people just may not have been fortunate enough to get the pass mark, but maybe their attitude or something. But what if the person has the attitude but may not be open-minded for that work? How about that?
That's a very interesting thing, because you see, you may not have the interest for the job. I know that a lot of people work not because they are passionate about what it is they do, but they want to put bread on the table. That's the bottom line, all right? And survival is important. If you don't survive, how do you think of going beyond survival? So for the purposes of survival, a lot of people are doing things they are not happy about, they are not passionate about. I have been in that shoes before. Sometimes when I was going to work, one of the places I used to work, I was virtually crying myself out of bed, but I had to do that because I had to put bread on the table. But my point is that even in those circumstances, you can learn the right skills, you can add value to yourself, build your network, and you can eventually change jobs and do something that brings you a lot of passion. So you may not necessarily be interested, but I think that once you do it very well, you can pick up some experience that can help you move into what makes you happy and passionate.
Sure, so we'll pick up some experiences. You spoke about network. How do you get the right network? How do you work your way around it?
All right, so the very first day you get into your job place, you should have the mindset that everybody you encounter at work will ultimately be part of the network that will lead you into your greatness. All right, so don't be just thinking about your boss or the people you report to, but even the people right from the gate throughout to the people you meet at the job site, the customers and the meetings you go to and all that. Have it at the point of your mind that you are building a very important network that can eventually lead you to your dreams. So have that at the back of your mind. That's how you build a network. Don't be close-minded. Don't just talk to people who are just in your line of work. Look at people you believe that in the near future can be of benefit to you. Not just of them being benefit to you, but also look at people that you can also intend be of benefit to. The network relationship is mutual. It is not one-sided.
Okay, this relationship is mutual. Let's go for a quick break. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the ALE Consult. The ALE Consult is a human capital development organization that provides capacity building, skills training, and skills enhancement for individuals and businesses. What we seek to do is to bring to the table in-depth knowledge, insights that will help people to become better at whatever it is that they are doing.
Welcome back from the break. If you just tuned in, this is our next guest TV show. And I have Mr. John Appiah with me. Okay, Mr. Appiah, while preparing for the show, I read somewhere that you give a lot of credit to your national service background. Why that assertion?
Well, I think that my national service played a very key part in my career success.
Okay.
So to begin with, I was posted to a secondary school to teach. And most of my friends at that time felt that it was a very bad choice or option I had received at that time. But I felt that teaching had a lot to offer.
Yeah.
So I put myself into it. I did it with all that I had. And it was through this teaching that I gained a lot of skills that essentially became my foundation for success.
Okay.
So can you imagine, just after teaching in a school for about a year, my first job was a customer service manager for a company called Into IT. And customer service skills I picked up in school because there were different types of students, different temperaments and all that. So dealing with them on a daily basis, I sort of understood the power of customer service. From working in that organization, I moved on back to school to read something in communication studies. And my first job after that was with Joy FM as a producer on the Super Morning Show and the News File as well. And it's all about my communication skills. I think that whilst I was a teacher, talking to students, writing lesson notes and checking and correcting notes and all that improved my communication skills. So in the communication field, I was able to enjoy a lot of success. So from Joy FM, I worked with the British High Commission as a communications officer.
Wow.
Can you just imagine? And then from there, I worked as a marketing manager for Invest in Africa. Then I came back into the media, this time TV3, where I was a presenter on TV3. And then I did that for a while, and I decided to do my own business. And here I am. I run the ALE Consult, the African Chamber for Youth Development, and then my dad's business. My dad was a medical doctor, and he started a clinic as far back as 1981. So when he passed on, I have taken on the baton as a managing director of Kufuria Clinic. And all these successes I've enjoyed, I 100% attribute it to the experience and exposure I had just as a teacher during my national service.
Okay, but at that time, why did it seem a bad idea?
Yes, most of my friends wanted to work with oil companies, wanted to work in banks, telecommunication. So the thought of you just teaching for national service, John, you're going to waste your time. Why are you even so excited about this opportunity? But I knew that there was a lot I could learn from teaching. And from that, I usually encourage a lot of national service people. Don't be fixated about the organization you're doing your national service. It is about the mindset you have. It's about the attitude you have. It's about the network you build, because eventually that is what will lead you to your success.
Okay. Last year, ALE Consult had a training workshop for national service persons. Let's take a video on how it went and a few feedbacks from some people.
Hi, my name is Kojo Oponkroma, Minister for Information. I want to particularly thank the ALE Consult for the help they are giving us in sharpening the skills of our new national service persons, particularly the lessons of dedication, attention to detail, and excellence, which they are helping us share with these young ones. I believe will go a long way to building their capacity so that they can do very well during their period here as national service persons and their entire career that lies ahead of them. Congratulations, guys.
Hi, my name is Bashira Tuabufatai, a national service person. Building yourself begins now, from today. 80% of your success after national service begins from today. And thanks to ALE Consult, one recommendation I'd like to make to the ALE Consult is you should try to make this kind of program for others out there, because it's not all organization that does all this program for national service persons.
ALE Consult have really educated me as far as national service is concerned. I've really learned a lot as far as professionalism, ethics at work, and financial management, as I said. Kudos to ALE Consult, you've really done a good job. Thank you.
Okay, those were a few feedbacks from participants in the training, the national service persons. Okay, ALE Consult, what do you do?
So what we do essentially is to help people to make the best out of what it is that they are doing.
Okay.
So whether you are working, you're an entrepreneur, you're a businessman, you're a student, we come in to provide skills training, capacity building that will help you to improve what it is that you're doing. And remember that human capital development is just about helping people to improve their knowledge and to improve the skills and abilities they have. That is what we essentially focus on.
Okay, but how is the process? Like, if you have to probably get consultation from ALE Consult, how do you go about it?
Oh, it's a very simple process. You know, once you contact us, you know, whether on Facebook or you call us, we engage with you to find out what needs you have and how well we can suit or tailor make our trainings to help you make the best out of what it is that you're doing.
Okay, but why did you center your input on national service persons?
Okay, so we do a number of things. One of the things we do includes the national service training.
Okay.
We are convinced at the Elite Consult that that 1 year that people spend doing national service, if they should have the right mindset, they should have the right skill set, it will prepare them adequately for the job market.
Okay.
But unfortunately, a lot of people don't take national service seriously. And I'm sure as we go on in the conversation, I'll tell you some of the things that they do, which I find very problematic. But we decided to concentrate on that because, you see, for national service, whether you like it or not, you are given 1 year experience working. You don't have to apply to, in some institutions you have to apply before you are given the national service in that particular organization, but for majority of us we didn't have to apply. We just filled our forms and we left it to the National Service Secretariat to post us. So what it is that almost every graduate you have access to do your 1 year national service, and we think that that 1 year should be better utilized by giving people the appropriate skills to enable them to make the best out of it. So that is why one of the things we do is to focus on the national service people, because remember I said that you need to improve your skills, and skills comes by experience. So that 1 year is enough to help you acquire the requisite skills that will help you in your job pursuit.
Okay, so aside the national service persons, which area do you focus on?
So another area we focus on is those who are already employed.
Okay.
There are some very important key soft skills that you may not get when you are in school, but once you employ, these things are necessary. For example, emotional intelligence. We have a model, a training model on how people can utilize the power of emotional intelligence to be better leaders at work. We do something on public speaking. We do something on how people can improve their communication skills, and so many other things we do for the category of people that are already employed. For those that do their own business as well, we also have specific training models that will help them to maximize the opportunities that comes their way as well. So we do a number of things as and when, you know, we are contacted, we come in.
As and when you're contacted.
Yes, please.
You stated earlier that you would give us some of the reasons why there's some problem associated with national service.
Yes. Okay, so this is how I want to put it. There are a number of things that a lot of national service people do that goes against them that they are not aware of.
Okay.
So number one, whether or not you go to work, you know that your service pay will come. Most of them, that is what it is. So a lot of people don't even take their national service seriously because one, they are frustrated about where they were posted to, and they are fixated on working in specific organizations, so that when they go to this place where they've been posted to, they are already morose, they are down, they are downcast, and therefore they waste their time, they're doing nothing. The second thing too is that a lot of national service people think that, oh, at this thing, who is going to evaluate me at the end of the day? I know I'll get my national service certificate, so I'll just do anything I want. So some go to work very late. And these are the same people that are the first to pack up their bags and leave the organization. That's another place where I find that they make a lot of mistakes. The third thing that they do, which I think is problematic, is that a lot of them get themselves involved in a lot of toxic or negative relationships. And that can forever injure their prospects of getting a good job. So that's another area they make a mistake. Then they also spend a lot of time on their dressing as compared to investing in their abilities and their skills. So I know a friend of mine who got national service outside Accra. He spent all his time mobilizing money to go and rent a place. At the end of the day, his main concern was to get a place to lay his head and nothing else. But I think that even the service money paid you can invest a little in training, in adding value to yourself, in improving yourself. And I think that that's one of the areas that national service people will have to pay attention to.
Okay, so now that some of these things, it looks like it's because those heading these various organizations have turned a blind eye to them. What do you think can be done to rectify some of these things?
I think that, frankly, a lot will have to be will be determined or will be dependent on the national service personnel. You need to have the appropriate and the right mindset in. Most organizations or some organizations don't really pay attention to people that do national service, but you need to pay attention to yourself. You need to make up your mind that you're going to make the best out of that 1 year you are working in that organization. You are going to positively contribute to the progress and productivity of that organization. It's a personal decision you have to make, because you see, if you leave everything entirely to that organization, you may be disappointed. The best an organization may do for you is to give you an orientation, tell you that this is the washroom, this is the manager's office, and that is it. But acquiring the right soft skills and mindset, you need to invest in yourself to be able to acquire these skills that will help you to succeed at that job place.
Okay. I know there's an upcoming workshop for national service personnel. Can you give us a brief on that? Okay.
So what we're doing in this year, 2020, is to provide the right training for people that are going to do their national service.
Okay.
And it is not restricted to people in the corporate organizations alone.
Yeah.
There are people that have been sent to schools to teach. There are people that are working in the hospitals and wherever they've been posted for national service.
Okay.
We are bringing a number of them together to bring in expert people to come and talk to them about some of the key things they need to know and learn and operate with when they do national service. So, for example, we'll have a session where people will talk about how you can become an effective employee. These are things you may not learn in the classroom. We'll have a session where we'll talk about how to manage office politics. In every organization, there's an element of politics in there. You need to understand how you can be on top of that game. We'll have somebody to also come and talk about emotional intelligence, how you can harness the power of emotional intelligence to be able to do well. We'll also spend some time and do communication skills training. There are some national service people, they don't even know how to send an email. Some even have very weird email addresses and all that. That's another conversation. But you need to learn how to send and respond to emails. You need to be able to write a report. You need to be able to write a memo or understand how to read a memo, and some other basic writing skills that you may not get in the classroom. We'll spend that time doing that training to give this national service personnel all this information. And to add it up, we'll have somebody to come and talk about personal finance management. Even though you are taking about 599 Ghana cedis, if you manage that funds very well, it can do a lot of things for you. So it will be a very exciting time for them to learn and also network.
Okay, if anyone wants to partake, how does the person go about this?
So what we have done is that we've made it open to all. So if, for example, you call this number 0243 317 275 or even WhatsApp, we understand that these young people are into, WhatsApp. You can just WhatsApp and say, hey, I'm interested in being part of this session. That's all you need to do. The rest, the team will pick it up and then we'll get in touch with you.
Okay. If probably the person didn't get the number, any handles to follow too?
Yes. When you go to Facebook and you look for the Early Consult, you'll find our page there. Once you go onto the page, we have a lot of information that can help you. And we also have a website, our own website. It is www.earlyconsult.com. Once you get to the website, every information you need on the service training workshop is available.
Right there.
Yes, please.
Okay, so if you happen to be within a working environment that quote unquote is unhealthy, someone is hostile or something, probably your boss, how do you cope with this?
The only thing I advise people is that keep your focus on why you are in that organization. You are not there because of the boss, and you are not there because the boss brought you there. You may have gotten into that organization as a result of your competence, as a result of the skills you have, as a result of your qualification. That should be at the back of your mind. The second thing is that, you see, keep your eyes on the goals of your job. At the end of the day, bosses can be changed. Bosses can even die and go. But ultimately, if you have a focus on the objectives for which you have been employed, you learn how to manage some of these things. Because I tell people that you don't have necessarily to be friends with everybody you work with, but we're in the workplace to achieve a set objective. So let that objective drive you. If the person doesn't like you, fine. How long do you spend in the office? 8 hours. After that, you go and do your own thing. So whilst you are at the workplace, your focus should be on achieving your objective, which includes being able to work together with your boss and your subordinates and the people all around you. And I've told you about office politics. It is everywhere, but you can always play your cards well and you can do well.
How about if that person is standing in the way of exhibiting your duties, doing what you have to do right, one way or the other, is not making it possible for you to do that?
All right, so the thing is that, you see, every organization has a setup. So if your direct supervisor is the one who is trying to cripple you, remember that your direct supervisor has a supervisor, and the supervisor of your supervisor has a supervisor. So the ultimate thing is that just do your best, because at the end of the day, your destiny at the workplace is not in the hands of just your supervisor. He has to do an appraisal of you, which he will submit to his superiors or her superiors, and they can also vet some of these things. I've been in that situation before, and what I had to do was to report to my boss's boss. And ultimately, all of us were brought on the table, and the evidence of your work is what will always speak for you.
Okay, the evidence of your work is what will always speak for you. So what if you don't have any work to speak for you? What do you do then?
That's what the problem is. That's what the problem is. But like I said, the moment you get your job, think about productivity, think about making impact, think about recording your results. In fact, there are some people that cannot even archive their achievements. But I think that you should always bear in mind the things you have done. Archive it, because during your appraisal, you need to show evidence of the goals you've been able to achieve and the targets you've been able to meet. And that is what will always speak for you. Because if your supervisor gives you a wrong appraisal, you can always appeal. And when you appeal, you have evidence to show that I was able to achieve this, I was able to do this and do that. These are things to show you. And then based on the evidence, you can be promoted or you can make progress in your workplace.
Okay, so just a few tips for those who are now doing their national service, I suppose some have started already.
Yes.
So just a few tips for them to keep them rolling.
The first thing I'll say is that be time conscious.
Okay.
Don't play with your time at all. The second thing is that invest in yourself. Read, learn, research, go onto the internet, learn about the industry you are in, and build enough knowledge base in that area. The third thing I'll talk about is that when you hear of trainings like what the A-League is doing, run to the place and be part of that training, because that is also important in helping you sharpen your skills and help you to prepare for success in your job world.
Okay, so what you have to do is to learn to sharpen your skills and get to a better place. Like, the height of what you do is always to the maximum. You have to try and make effort to improve yourself and do better day in, day out. You just have to do better. Thank you for coming. We're glad we had you today.
Thank you for hosting me as well. I'm grateful.
Okay, this has been an insightful session with Mr. John Appiah. We hope to have you very soon again on the show so that you can tell us more about human capital development. And if you missed any part of today's show, you can just watch it on YouTube, our Next Guest TV show, and we're right there. I'm your host, Maud Enna Mashiabo. Catch us same time next week. Bye.